So with the hip hop culture, we see a lot of jewelry, right? And we've had conversations in this podcast of materialistic things. Is it good or bad that it gets glorified? How do we personally feel about things about that? And there is this documentary that QC came out with. If y'all don't remember, that is Coach K and P with all Migos and Yachty and City Girls and everything. And they literally did a documentary about jewelry and the importance of it in the hip hop culture. And I'm going to say, honestly, it made me think about it a little bit different. I'm not saying I'm going to come out here with a rollie and an iced out chain all of a sudden. That's not what I am saying. But there is, let's just go to the clip because I got a lot to say and I see the time. And if it wants to come up, it will. But
cue the clip.
Right. Cue the clip. Y'all know how we do it. It comes up when it wants to come up sometimes. But when it comes to how hip hop looks at it, it's almost
about the music
here we
at the
go.
end of the day. But
let me get it back. Bring it back.
All about the music at the end of the day. But with marketing and persona now, you know, once they put the jury on and they create who they are, those fans want to see the
Man, it's really up. It's become like, all right, well, you ain't got no big change, so you must not be doing well.
And then that becomes psychologically hard on the artist, because then the artist, like, all the time they feel like they gotta be.
So here's where I want to go with this, right? I love how Coach K was like, yo, music comes first. Yes, granted, cool. However, it is a plus and a minus with this jewelry situation, like they mentioned, because how they formed it was, you know what, the American dream wasn't for us. And so we don't necessarily get awards and trophies for when we do amazing things, like maybe other people. So we're going to say jewelry is our trophy. This is something that we're proud of based off different occasions, based off different milestones, right? Everybody has their vices, and this is kind of ours, right? Now, for that standpoint, I'm like, all right, you did something. No one's going to give you anything. You might as well, maybe that's the only child in me, you might as well buy yourself something, you know, to say congratulations to yourself, right? I'm fully aware of that. And the whole marketing situation, the way you look is completely shows, yo, I got it all together. This is just where I understand if I have certain chains, if I have certain cars, I have certain things, I'm depicted as I got it together. I'm successful. It is what it is, right? Now, I did like what they say about, yo, if I don't have it, I look like I'm broke. Like, and the crazy thing about that is, like, we look at a J. Cole, we don't think he's broke, but my man does look a bit homeless sometimes. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm going to say it. I don't know what's happening with his hair. That's also so crazy. But it's a lot of things going on. It's a lot of things. But even in the documentary, which was cool for them to point out Jay-Z, where it's like, yo, Jay will come out with a whole suit, right? But he'll still come out with the chain. And it's more of a, I'm in your culture, but more of a, and pardon me, F you kind of thing. Like, this is where I'm from. Like, I made it, but this is where I'm from. And this is my trophy that I made it, right? I have conflicting situations with it because for the sake of the rapper life has almost converted into the entrepreneurship life. And if we see, and it is documented where, it can mess up your mental that if you don't have this particular chain, car, and everything, people don't think you got it. And you can have all the skills in the world, but if you don't have these things, you haven't made it. Or you are looked at a certain kind of way. And that kind of lifestyle has almost seemed to come through to entrepreneurship, because it's not necessarily if you have the best business, the best skills, the best experiences, anything like that. It's, to some, if you have this mansion, if you have this car, if you have these types of jewelry, now you're a very successful entrepreneur. And we could clearly see that. Now, I bring up a J. Cole because a J. Cole is like a Bill Gates, right? A Kendrick is like a Jeff Bezos, where I'm successful and I don't necessarily have to show you I'm successful, because clearly my body of work and what I have built says it for itself. I wonder, is it a confidence thing after a certain point that makes you like feel that comfortable that you're like, I'm cool? Because even in I think episode 2 or 3 of this particular documentary, Lil Yachty comes back and is like, yo, a lot has changed in a year. I look at jewelry, it's cool to look at, but I'm not really about that materialistic thing anymore. I know 21 Savage also was one of those, I'm not going to really buy jewelry anymore. I'm going to go more into investing. Right? So clearly certain priorities and everything like that. But if you, and I understand, like I said, I understand with hip hop because that's entertainment, right? So you have to entertain, you have to live a certain kind of lifestyle. And so it's cool for an entertainment standpoint. It sucks from a real life standpoint. But when you're taking a lifestyle of entertainment and putting it into a business style of entrepreneurship and making it as almost, if we don't see these things, you're not a successful entrepreneur, that's when I have a bit of a problem. Keep it as a trophy. I'm for it. Yo, you got your Rolls Royce, cool, right? What was it? Shout out to LeBron if you're seeing this. Your son has an amazing car. Shout out to Bronny, right? He has this new Charger with the stars on the top of it. They went to, I think, what is it called? Stars in the ceiling, right? Which I just found out. You can put any stars in a car. And now I don't want a Rolls Royce anymore.
Oh, there we go.
Yes.
There we go.
Thank you. I don't
Save
want a
you
Rolls Royce no more.
$100,000 or so. Yeah.
Fire,
Save
right.
you $100,000 or
Because
so.
all I wanted was for the stars, but that's not the point, right? Where was it going with this? Because I got really confused. So, okay, no. I totally forgot it. Totally
That's
forgot.
all right. Yeah.
Because I was like, got so excited that I don't have to get a Rolls Royce anymore. But anyways, so, okay. So, shout out to Bronny because he got a new car with the ceilings, stars in the ceilings. And that's kind of like his trophy for what he's already done. And he's super talented and super successful in his already career that he has, right? With how, like his school is one of the most like notable schools and documented schools right now, right?
Yeah.
So that the fact that he got that car is a trophy like, yo, salute to you, right? Cool. But I'm conflicted because some people really say, yo, you don't have this, then you're not successful. Right? Or the expectation is that, and that messes with people's mentals. And that's where I have a bit of a problem. Because granted, shout out to my mom, I love jewelry like anybody else, right? I will keep a certain kind of look, certain kind of chain on, because that's who I am, right? And I come from the hip hop kind of lifestyle, all that great stuff. However, take this away, I'm still the same person. And I can still murder anybody in the skills that I do, right? And no one can say anything different. But some people will look at it from a standpoint of, here are your peers. Your peers have rollies. Your peers have these particular cars, multiple cars.
Mm-hmm.
Where are you with that? I do not care.
Right.
What are you talking about? Like, what? So I'm conflicted with it, but I understood based off this documentary why jewelry is such a importance in hip hop, because we weren't supposed to be given anything anyways. So let's create our own stuff. So I get it from that standpoint.
Yeah. No, 100%. I mean, I think it's more of a personality thing just as much as anything else, right? Like, I think there are a group of people who, I'm not going to say that something is necessarily wrong with them or something is missing, but they enjoy, they have expensive taste, right? Or they enjoy the luxuries of life, rightfully so. And then there's another group of people who understand that this is what you have to do to be marketable, right?
Yes.
And it's not something not anything that they necessarily need to stay alive, but they're like, oh, okay. Like, I look at a Conor McGregor, right? And his fight is on tonight. And I noticed what he did last fight, and he's fighting the same person, right? It's like they're the third fight. What he did last time, and he took this very friendly approach where he's used to being the villain. And we've seen a lot of people take the villain character or the villain role in their marketing efforts to really rally more people, because you're either gonna love to see him or you're gonna love him or hate him, but you want to see him win or you want to see him lose. But either way, you're watching. We saw Floyd do that. We saw Conor do that. But where they come from humble beginnings. They don't necessarily need those things, but they know how to play the game. I think the challenge and what you're speaking to here is like, if it becomes the thing that helps you to feel valuable, worthy, or confident, then man, that's something you got to really look out for, because God forbid, should something happen or you can't maintain that lifestyle, then it's difficult to, right, feel your best or contribute or any of those things. So no, I think you spoke to it really, really well. But yeah, I just wanted to add that piece of, people just more so understanding the marketing side of the business, and they play the game, and even others who choose to play the villain role, and they see what happens. So like, as you're looking at, I don't know if you've seen any comments or interviews around, again, just with this example with Conor, everyone is excited that he's back being the villain and tossing my man's hot sauce and, like doing all this crazy stuff. So I think some people know how to play the game. Others just get tied to it and they actually need it to, be themselves or whatever. So
yeah, and from a marketing standpoint, would Floyd Mayweather be Floyd Mayweather if he didn't market himself with having the cars, the money, the houses? Who's another one? Would Cash Money, let's bring it back, would Baby and Lil Wayne back then, would they have been so successful being called Cash Money and they not showing any kind of lifestyle?
Going on with credit cards. Yeah,
right.
I feel you.
Right. So I think, but then again, if we go all the way back from our kind of, not like back like Rakim and all them, but Death Row. Now their marketing standpoint was terror and gangs, and like, it wasn't the money. It's called Death Row. Like, you come correct, or you will probably deal with some consequences, right? I didn't want to say that. That's still, I think Suge is still in jail, but sorry, Suge, but yeah, so their marketing way is not about the cars and money. We have that, but that's not the standpoint. The standpoint is, you know, our attitudes, who we're affiliated, what are, when we come in the room, don't mess with us, right? So I think even though you can go into a industry where it is very materialistic, there is still other ways to market that doesn't necessarily go around that. Now, I'm not saying do the death row way. Please do not pick violence over money. Don't do that.
Facts.
That's it. You know what I mean? Like I'm not good with that.
Facts.
But I think it only gets dangerous when it comes to the jewelry and money, and when there's greed that comes in. That's when it gets a little bit crazy. That's another topic within itself. I think if it just stays as trophies, I'm cool with that. You know what I mean? I'm cool with that.